Welcome everyone to our lectures on sexuality and abortion and socialism versus capitalism. So these lectures are going to kind of be history lectures, and we're going to talk about the historical backdrop of everything that's happening today. So it's important for you guys to realize we didn't wake up in the modern era, right? The modern era is movements of ideas and histories that led us to this moment where abortion and homosexuality is kind of a common and improved practice. And it's kind of helpful to think through how do we get here? What intellectual forces brought us to this moment? So a few of those forces, one of them is the Enlightenment, or we can think of it like this, the end of the Enlightenment project. So in the 1600s, with a man by the name of Rene Descartes, the Enlightenment began. And the important thing about the Enlightenment is that they kind of thought to themselves, I don't need transcendent revelation to get to truth. We can think of it like this. Autonomous individuals can come to know truth. Or maybe even a third way, reason, sometimes the Enlightenment is called the age of reason. Reason and reason alone should be the foundation for an individual to know something. That's the Enlightenment project. That project ultimately fails. Yet, one of its high moments is the French Revolution that occurs at the end of the 1700s, early 1800s. The French Revolution and the overthrowing of King Louis is the height of the Enlightenment, right? So, like, if you think about the French Revolution, hey, we get the tricolor flag from the French Revolution, but they would create a monument to reason. They tried to make the week 10 days instead of 7 days because 10 was a round number. So the French Revolution is kind of like the Enlightenment hitting the ground. Like, hits the ground in the form of the French Revolution, which becomes important. French Revolution is going to become important because it's kind of the backdrop for Marxism. And then the Second Industrial Revolution. So the First Industrial Revolution is like in the end of the 1700s. And then the Second Industrial Revolution is the end of the 1800s. And what's important about that Industrial Revolution is it gives rise to these mega metropolitans, and it moves society away from chiefly an agricultural society where everything is spread out to a society based on means of production. So because these huge industrial centers arise, they create huge cities, and these huge cities, they center around a means of production. So I build a factory, make widget A, everyone moves to city B where factory widget A is built because A, they want jobs. So they move into that city, and the center of the city, the center of that whole metropolitan is factory A, building the widgets. So you can think about how a society itself centers around the means of production. Finally, these lectures are going to be more like a historical lecture, and I'm going to kind of focus more on like, what ideology is behind same-sex marriage? What ideology or ethical, moral theory is behind abortion? I'm going to assume that you guys are going to go back and do biblical research and comb through the biblical data and figure out the opposite side. There's a lot of good biblical material and secondary sources on what does the Bible have to say about same-sex marriage? What does the Bible have to say about abortion? There's less great material from a Christian perspective about the history of ideas and how we've gotten to the point that we are in these. So we're going to focus on those. So we'll do a lecture on same-sex marriage and Marxism. We'll do a lecture on existentialism and abortion. And then we'll do capitalism versus socialism. So I'll see you around.